Good day, good day, good day, everybody, and welcome to Living Life in Joy. I am Rev Melissa, and as introduction, I am an interfaith minister. I'm a licensed religious science practitioner. I'm a spiritual life coach and the senior director, spiritual director at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living in New York. And this is my ministry of joy where I support people in living life in joy, connected to their yes. So if you need support in any way, you can reach out to me, you could DM me on Facebook or go to my website, revmelissa.com. So, Living Life in Joy is the show that is a vehicle to support people who are connected to their yes, to get the word out about people who are doing good work in the world, to introduce you to someone you may not know. So, this is the vehicle for expressing joy in the world. And Lord knows we need all avenues to do that, right? We need some joy in the world today. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So I am thrilled for June because this is Black Music Month. And if you've been watching all month, you know that my husband, Marco Nobles, has been curating all of the shows for this month. Marco is the co-founder of Enjoy Enterprises, and he is the creator, architect of rhythmandsoulradio.com, a 24 hours, 7 days a week internet radio channel that you can check out if you want to hear music, new music, awesome music by independent artists that you will not hear more than likely on mainstream radio. So go to rhythmandsoulradio.com and experience something new. Let me throw this up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. There you go. All right, all right. So this month we've had some amazing independent artists. Week two, we had Adina Nari and Lorinda Robinson. They are singers, songwriters, and co-founders of Pie Fest, which is Play It Forward Electric Soul Tour. And they're having their annual benefit this summer. You can go to piefest.org and see the lineup, get tickets, and support this wonderful organization that also supports other artists. And so they are benefiting the Chivin Foundation for the Arts. It's an independent, intimate garden series of live jazz and soul music. So it's going to be awesome. Get your tickets today. And then last week we had the lovely, amazing, talented, gifted, so many things, Kelly Say. She is an award-winning performer, singer, songwriter, composer, comedian, and playwright. And she is the lead vocalist on Dancing with the Stars. And she has performed with everybody: Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner, Paul Simon, Incognito, Count Basic, and so many, many more. She also has a one-woman show called Disco Dicks and Dykes. So you can go to her website, kellysay.com, and check out what she is up to and find out about her one-woman show. All right. So if that wasn't enough, today we have another amazing independent artist to close out our celebration of Black Music Month. And I am just thrilled to introduce you all to him. So let's go, set, ready. So we are back, and I am so ready to introduce you to Nicholas Ryan Gant. Nicholas Ryan Gant is a New York-based singer, songwriter, and educator. NRG studied opera at Howard University and works as a sought-after vocal coach internationally. NRG's dynamic vocal stylings have afforded him the opportunity to sing support vocals for artists such as Mariah Carey, John Baptiste, Run the Jewels, Cy Smith, Childish Gambino, Marie Ben Ari, and Michael McDonald. Ah, I love it. I love all of that. So without further ado, please help me welcome to Living Life in Joy, Mr. Nicholas Ryan Gant. Yes.
How are you, Red?
Oh, wonderful. Look at you. It's so good to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Nicholas, I like to start the show always by asking this question. Like, what is your testimony? What led you to do what you're doing and be who you're being in the world?
Oh my gosh. That is such a heavy question. I've been obviously well, not obviously, but I've been singing since I can't remember. I don't remember a time not singing. But something that I did always struggle with was self-confidence and just being confident in who I was and in my gifts. And my mom, she definitely invested a lot into that as a kid. She put me in this group called the Phoenix Boys Choir, where I was like the only Black kid there, but really gave me the opportunity to really study music more in depth at a young age. And we went on huge tours all over the world. I got to see the Great Wall of China by the time I was 13.
Wow.
And yeah, just amazing experiences that little Black kids don't often get.
Yeah.
And you know, and I went on to study music in high school after that, and I started to take private voice lessons and just really trying to hone my craft. I went to a school in Arizona called Arizona School for the Arts, which was like one of the first of its kind
Wow.
in the state and in the country even. And I studied voice there and decided to go on and study it in college. And I went to this small school. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called Howard University.
Never heard of it.
Right. So I studied opera at Howard, and there I decided that I really didn't want to be an opera singer after all of that. But you know, I still kept up with the classical technique and I started doing more contemporary stuff and working with the independent and you know, local artists in DC, because that movement at the time was like huge. It was like really like the big push of the neo soul movement. So I got to work with artists there like W. Ellington Felton and Deborah Bond, Raheem Devon, Yazra St. James, all of these people, Wayna. All of these people who were like the first like real independent artists that I saw like kind of pushing their own music and brands,
Yeah.
you know, without a huge label. And I was like, oh, that's something that I really feel like, you know, I could do. And and I just started writing songs probably about 20 years ago at this point. And you know, just started writing songs and trying to figure out how to record them, and you know, and just really trying to figure out what I wanted to say, you know, and I figured the best thing for me to say is what is closest to me, which is like, you know, my life in regards to my faith, and then my faith in regards to how I connect with people and
Yeah.
individuals. And so, just with struggling with confidence as a kid, I knew that that was something that people still struggle and grapple with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, understanding who you are to me has helped me really deal with my issues with confidence,
Mm.
and just really doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of just what's another word, maybe, I don't know, self-reflection just is really it, and just like
Yeah.
trying to get to know like who I am, as a person, so that I can be confident in who I am, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I
And
love
so
that.
that's a lot of my testimony in short.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So Nicholas or NRG, which do you
All of
prefer?
it, any of it. I kind of use
Okay.
it interchangeably. So whatever you feel, if you feel
Okay.
energy is good, like,
Okay.
I'll answer to anything except for Nick.
I
Un-
know that's right.
unless you've known me for more than 20 years, unless you know me for more than 20 years, then then Nick is, it's acceptable. But most people will like not know me at all and like be like, "Hey Nick," and I'm like, "Wait, you
Come
really
on
don't know
now.
me?"
Right. No, not that familiar. Not that
Right,
familiar.
right.
Right.
And I'm a people person, so I'm okay with like, like being comfortable, but sometimes like, people be pushing boundaries and I'm like, come on now.
I
Like, get
know.
to know me a little better first before you jump in on that.
Right. So, Nicholas, singer, songwriter, educator. Share a little bit about the educator piece of you.
Oh my gosh, which is it's so funny that I'm now like an educator. So I I started as a teaching artist with the famed Harlem Children's Zone. That's actually how I started getting into education. But before that, like I made connections with young people through my church. So I
Mm-hmm.
was a youth leader at my church, and then I sang with the youth choir at my church, like as a young adult leader within the youth choir.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I started working with young people, and then education was just kind of a natural segue because I had I had such love for young people and like making those connections, and because it was so natural, it just became like a thing that I was good at and didn't realize,
Mm-hmm.
and then at Harlem Children's Zone they were really big on building and writing out like curriculum, student centered curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
and so like learning how to do that there was almost invaluable
Mm-hmm.
because that made the transition into like the public school classroom so seamless for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was touring and doing recording and doing all of those things that sort of ebb and flow like really hard. Like in the music industry, like when it's good, but when it's bad.
Yeah.
And there were some seasons where I was like extremely hungry, and like having to apply for food stamps and
Mm-hmm.
apply for these grants and things, and I was like, I need something that's a little more consistent,
Yeah.
that I can still try to balance this artist slash work life,
Yeah.
and like the classroom just seemed like the best fit, you know
Mm-hmm.
and so I ended up applying for grad schools because in order to teach in NYC, you have to have a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I applied for several different programs, and and initially I was a little bit discouraged because I wanted to do like speech and language pathology because I
Mm-hmm.
figured that would be more in line with what I was doing like with private lessons and things.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it because I didn't have a lot of the science prerequisites that it takes
Mm-hmm.
to get into those programs. And so I was a little bit discouraged. But my god sister was a part of this program through Lincoln Center called the Lincoln Center Scholars.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually do a fully subsidized master's for teaching artists that want to transition into being full-time classroom teachers. So
Wow.
I applied for that. Yeah, applied for that and was chosen. There was 30 of us out of hundreds of applicants. And I was one of the recipients of their scholarship, and I got a fully subsidized master's through Lincoln Center at Hunter College. So
Nice.
thank you. And so that program was a beast because you had to teach while you were in the program because it
Yeah.
was a certification program. And we taught while we were in the program full time and then had to go to class until like 10 o'clock at night. So for 2.5 years, like my days were almost 20 hours long,
Yeah.
waking up
Yeah.
at 5 and, not getting to sleep until 2 and doing this for 2 years, 2.5 years straight.
Yeah.
But like it was something that I don't regret, and it has definitely gotten me to the next level as far as education goes.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in my I'm ending my 5th year as a classroom teacher with the Department of Ed here in New York, and so that journey has been really. It's been definitely up and down. Just
Yeah.
with COVID, my third
Yeah.
year, like in the middle of my third year, we had to go remote, and
Yeah.
for a music teacher, obviously that just makes it all the more difficult because everything you do is based on collaboration.
Right.
It's based on collaboration and being in person and working things out together. So like having to get creative during a pandemic was something
Mm-hmm.
I did not anticipate, but it definitely stretched me, as far as the use of technology in
Yeah.
music and, just as far as like communication and even organization, it
Yeah.
stretched me like far beyond, what I even could have imagined.
But isn't it wonderful because those stretch points you will always use them in other
Always.
areas of your life, right? I'm sure that it stretched you just in your capabilities as an independent artist.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
like having that mic set up, this ring light, you see this glow right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, had to get creative and figure some things out, and
So,
it definitely was something that it was definitely challenging. I mean, because I ended up getting COVID that first
oh,
wave. So
yeah,
March 15th, 2020 was the day that they shut the city down, but it was
yeah.
also the day that I started feeling symptoms, thinking that I had a cold,
Mm.
that like lasted a week, and I'm like sick at home trying to figure out how to put all my classes on Google Classroom, and I'm like in meetings like typing
Right.
like crazy sick. And then the
Wow.
next week I'm still sick, and by the 10th day was when like things started really to set into my chest, and I ended up
Mm.
having to go to the hospital. So
Wow.
that third week, I was in the hospital with COVID for 6 days, and that's when they finally gave me a test because at that point they weren't like
Right.
giving people like it wasn't like a regular thing,
Right.
you know. So
Right.
yeah, that was definitely an interesting time and something I'll
Yeah.
never forget.
Well, look at you now. Look at you now, right? Working on new music. So tell us, what do you have going on now?
Oh my goodness. So obviously this pandemic has been very interesting for all of us, right?
Mhm.
And we've learned a lot, we've lost a lot, we've lost a lot of people,
Mhm.
and just the right before the pandemic, the concept of restoration kind of hit me, like while I was on a
Mm.
flight to LA to hang out with some friends for my midwinter break, and I just started writing, all the ideas that were coming to me down, not really knowing what we were about to go into, and it ended up being something that I really needed. And
Mm.
so the album is called Restore, and
Restore.
yeah, I sort of like this pandemic love story, if you will, of a reconciliation between like us as
Mm.
humans and healing,
Mm.
and so just all the different facets of relationships. Um, I talk about just relationships with people, with yourself, with
Mhm.
God, with your faith, with your
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
and though that's what it's really based on, just the idea of how we can heal in all of those relationships, like the good and the bad, all the good and the bad that comes with all these different types of relationships.
Oh,
And
that
so that's
sounds
what the album is
awesome.
about. Yeah,
Restore.
yeah. I
Oh, we so
co-produced
need
it.
that right now.
Yeah, we do, we do. We definitely need restoration, healing, love, all of those things. And
Yeah.
I co-produced it with uh, one of my good friends, Mikey Freedom Hart, who actually, you may have seen his name. He just won the Grammy for Album of the Year because he co-produced and wrote for John Batiste. Uh,
Ah, he did
yeah, and so
Freedom?
I'm pretty sure he co-wrote and produced on that project, and so his name is like I think number 2 on the on the whole list of
Wow.
people like
Nice.
that, Grammys, and so we co-produced this project together, and he has just been very very supportive throughout the process of writing and production and stuff, and he made it sound beautiful. He made it sound beautiful, and so I'm excited for people to hear it. I did like an album preview show at Joe's Pub a week ago, actually,
Nice.
Saturday, and it was beautiful, packed house, just
Nice.
lots of love, and people just open to receive all of that. So,
Well, Nicholas, how can people support you? How can we find your music? Are you going to do a tour? Like, what's going on with this new
all of
music?
that, all of that is in the works.
Okay.
I'm planning the tour, obviously for the second half of the summer because I'm a teacher, so we're just getting out of school. We're just getting out of school, so I'm planning the tour for the second half of the summer, and I have some cool merch. I don't know if you guys can see
Yes.
this,
Believe
but
gloriously in you. You're fly. Yes.
it's a positive affirmation. The the album really it does. I try to let it speak to those things,
Mm,
and sometimes you don't have it within you to be positive, right? But you got to surround yourself with people that can uplift you even when you can't uplift yourself,
that's
and
right.
and this is a quote from the song Confidence Key, which is the latest single from my album, which you can find on my Bandcamp, ghettofalsetto.bandcamp.com,
Okay.
and also on my website, nicholasryantgant.nyc, nicholasryantgant.nyc. And I have the t-shirts there. A lot of people don't really buy music anymore because
Mm-hmm.
of all the streaming platforms. So uh, us independent artists, we get hit the hardest with that.
Yeah.
With the streaming. I mean, in full transparency, I make about $30 a year from streaming platforms, which is, obviously pennies to what I actually
Right.
put into the music.
Right.
Thousands and thousands of dollars put into the music only to make $30 back from streaming platforms, right?
Wow.
And so people do buy merch though, so cop a t-shirt from your favorite
Yes.
indie artist,
Yes.
cop a t-shirt, cop a button, all of that, it helps for us in advertisement, right? Because we
Yes.
don't have big machines behind us, but also it helps to support us financially in ways so that we can keep putting out music. Because
Yes.
in the end, that's really what it does. It just helps support me creating art. And so
Beautiful.
nicholasryantgant.nyc, you can check out the merch there. There's a tab, and there's also my vintage store, which will soon be up as well. I'm
Mm-hmm.
selling vintage clothing, St. Nicholas vintage, because fashion and style is one of my other loves. And people
Yeah.
are always asking me where you get your clothes, you're a big boy, where you get this, where you get that. You can get it on my website.
All right, y'all. All right. We're going to go to nicholasryantgant.nyc and get some merch Because I
Yes.
love a good t-shirt. I love a good
I
t-shirt. So I'm
I can
rocking
tell.
Love is Love
I
today
see that.
because
I
we
see
need to
that.
remember that. But I love Believe Gloriously in You. You're fly. I love everything about that. So let's get into some joy news, joy questions. Then we'll get into some joy news. So 3 joy questions, real quick answers. What does joy look or feel like for you?
Oh my gosh, sunshine, smiles, um, bubbles. I love blowing bubbles, and warm sand and water under my feet. That's joy,
Yeah, we could keep joy company for sure. I love all of that, all of that.
right?
Question 2. I say I'm living life in joy. What are you living life in?
I'm living life and trying to get free, trying to
Trying
be
to
free,
get free.
pushing through.
So living life in freedom. Let's
Yeah,
affirm that. Let's affirm that. Living life
yes,
in
living life in
freedom.
freedom.
Okay, I love it. Last question. And this one is usually a little challenging for the artists. But what is your joy song and why?
Ooh, I have a whole joy song playlist. I call it my happy song playlist. Um, the first one that comes to mind from the playlist is it's mad random, but "Best of My Love" by The Emotions.
I love that whole album. That
So
whole album.
I'm obsessed with The Emotions, just their harmonies, like even their individual voices, like obsessed. And I kind of went on like this binge, like trying to find all their records and go digging through the record store. I have notes left at all the record store. Hi, if you guys find any emotions or you get it, like please call me. Because they just make me so happy. And then the next song by them is Flowers. Oh my gosh, it's just
You
like
my
does
people.
something.
You are my people.
It just
Yes.
does something like on the inside. But also, and this is another random one, Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. Like if I hear
Yes.
that song, it instantly
Yes.
flips my mood.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are my joy songs.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We are, I think we are birds of a feather for sure.
Yeah,
Because
for
I
sure.
love the emotions. I love the energy that you are putting out in the world for positivity, for confidence, and for freedom, and for being fly, and for being
Yes.
fly. So thank you. Thank you, Nicholas, so much for being my guest today. Thank you for closing out our Black Music Month. It's been wonderful. And you representing the men because I had all women this
Oh,
month.
that's
So
awesome. You had some heavy hitters, so I'm like, ooh, when you started listing everybody, I'm like, ooh, I love all of them.
yes,
Brown Baby
Marco
Girl,
don't
Kelly
play.
State, all of these. I'm like, ooh, I'm in good company.
You in good company. Yes, you are. So thank you so much.
Oh,
Everybody,
my
please
pleasure.
support. Please support independent artists. Please support Nicholas Ryan Gant. Check out his music. Buy his merch. All right? All right. Peace and blessings, my brother.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, everybody. All right. Wasn't that wonderful? I love him. I love the energy. I love the positivity. And I love the love and I love the joy. I love all of it. All of it. So that was today's show, Living Life in Joy. And I just want to close out with a couple of things, some joy news. So please join me Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. for Sip with Red Melissa. It's daily inspiration to get your day going right. SIP stands for Spirit and Practice. And that's what we do. We practice. That's all we do is practice because practice makes progress. And then the last thing I want to say is there's a lot going on in the world. And I just want to say a quick word about the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. And I hope that we stay in the light, that we stay in the light, right? It's been said to not fight darkness, but bring the light, and the darkness will disappear. So we are light workers. That is the space that we are working in and working through. So I believe we can have justice and peace. We can have dissent and love. Both can coexist. Both can coexist. So feel your feelings and then be about the good work. Be about the good work. All right, everybody. Thank you again for being with me today. I so appreciate you. Thank you again, my wonderful guest, Nicholas Ryan Gant. Please support. I will see you all on Monday, hopefully on SIP at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Peace and blessings, peace and justice. We're living life in joy, connected to our yes.